Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday's edition, The House Heroes, Facebook Live at 9 o'clock. Welcome to everyone. My name is Roxy, and we have...
Troy. How you guys doing? Welcome, everyone, from the House Heroes, the House Hero Clan, and the Wham Fam. It's another Tuesday night live. I have a special guest, which isn't really, she's special, but she's really not a guest because she's part of the House Heroes. It's Roxy. How you doing tonight, Roxy?
I'm doing fantastic. And it's a nice little surprise here, but yeah, let's do this. Always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to share, educate, and just inform everyone of, what's going on and what we have to share. So.
Well, fantastic. We have, so tonight we're going to do what's called a real estate market update. And we're going to go over some of the numbers that we've seen from the crazy month of July. But first, we are very, very interactive here. So please, first of all, everyone out there in Facebook land, say hi to us. Give us a little wave, a little hi out there. We definitely appreciate it. If you have any questions, go ahead and, ask us any questions you want. We're more than happy to answer them. We are here to educate, communicate, and empower you through the real estate transaction process, or any questions if you were to start this process or even thinking about buying a home. Or please share this with someone who actually is just thinking, do I need to get a home? What's going on? So Roxy, tonight's going to be a very special night. I think that we've had so much going on in the news the last week. It's kind of been crazy, hasn't it?
It's been nuts. That's my word. That's my word for like the last 2 weeks. This has been more than crazy, more than a circus. It's just been nuts. But I'm loving every minute of it.
Yes.
from thinking other things,
Well, let's go start with what's in the news.
Alrighty, let's do.
Well, all right. So, I guess
definitely a special night tonight.
Right? It'll be a special night. So, in the news, there's been quite a lot of different things that we've been seeing that have come to fruition. I know that Redfin came out and they said that we're seeing. There you go, Roxy. Go ahead and next slide.
I will.
We're seeing that, the actives that are on the market, the amount of properties that are hitting the market are down 20% from last year. So we have this huge demand, right? And then we have this inventory going down, and we're seeing it. It's the 10th straight month, year over year, that we're seeing less inventory out there. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Are you seeing that out there too?
I'm seeing it every single day. We're out there 7 days a week. We are seeing just a crazy amount of just even showing up to a property. When's the last time, Troy, you saw showing up to a property for an appointment and have a line out there? It's like, back then it reminded me like the Mervyn sale, like open the sale. It just reminds me of that. And it's just, and it's all appointment only. It's just, it's tougher. And at the same token, when it comes time to offers, which we're going to discuss in a little bit in a few more slides of what we have to do to get our offers accepted, of what all the creativity and just getting all very knowledgeable about it and just working smart about it.
Right. And so if you hit that slide again, yes. Roxy, let's go to that one. Go ahead and go to the next one. Another proof of in the pudding that we're dealing with is that U.S. home ownership rate has rose or soared to an almost all-time 12-year high. We're definitely seeing that, instead of investors coming into this market, it's going to be an owner-occupied first-time home buyer market. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, I would go back 10 years ago when the market crashed. You had investors come in, buy those homes up, and then start renting them out. But now they're taking their profits off of the table, and now they're reselling those homes and making that money. And now I know that literally with investors, I'm not really dealing with any investors at the moment. Are you, Roxy?
No, not at the moment. Nope, not
right.
As of today.
And then let's go one step further. How many, just off the top of your head, how many first-time home buyers are you dealing with?
At the moment, I have about 7 of them right now.
Right.
7 of them. And 5 of them right now I've been dealing with for about, working with for about 6 weeks, trying to get that offer accepted. And we'll get to in a second what our strategies are carrying out there.
Great. Go ahead and hit the next slide. All right. So 20% of all home offers, winning bids of those home offers, waived inspection contingency. Tell us about that.
So, well, I said I was going to get to it. Well, let's get to it now. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. We just got to come in stronger and stronger. And right now, my friends, family, co-workers, co-agents, whoever's watching this, a high price is just not going to be good enough. It's just not. You're going to go higher and higher. You're going to run. Yeah, before it was, you run into appraisal contingencies, and that's not going to work. In case value doesn't come in. Now it's a matter of we got to get creative. We either got to shorten. It became from the norm to shorten the contingencies to now remove the contingencies. We started off with inspection, and then we start hearing about appraisal. Well, then yeah, and especially when we find the perfect buyer out there, which I have come across, which has been nice, that have that extra little cash, to make up the difference. And buyers are just becoming today a little bit more educated and knowing the plus side to it, the advantage of it. And when you divide that by 30 years of payment, and when you start thinking about the winnings that you're going to make, the equity that you're going to make, just think, back in January, February, when we started this year, the prices are not the same. I just knew, Troy, the difference of representing buyers that for some reason the sellers decided not to sell anymore. We got off the market. We were like waiting around for 30, 45 days. Now I'm back in the market showing them properties. Guess what? When I was showing $500,000 homes, they're not out there anymore. I had to jump from 520 to 525. But then guess what? It's still not included, the spike that I have to do to just get this offer accepted just a little bit. But here we are, removing the inspection contingency. Then we'll get to the also the appraisal contingency. Well, we can see this graph right here, right? Let me see.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, right here. Okay.
So what's really good about this, and I mean, you make really good points. I would say in January or so, it was all about price, but today, because everyone now is overbidding it, it's all about the other contingencies that are actually on the contract, such as inspections and appraisal. If we can waive inspection contingencies and we waive appraisal contingencies, then a seller is more likely to look at our offers, even if it's not the highest offer. They know that the appraisal rules the day. So if I waive my appraisal contingency and I have cash and I can prove that through proof of funds I have that money, then it turns around and now that makes that offer so much more stronger than somebody offering some crazy astronomical dollar, and then they'll just claw back on inspections and on the appraisal.
Correct. And it just brings more protection to the seller, of course, just knowing that, have that backup, and it's a cushion. It's almost basically what it ends up being is you're just giving the seller just extra, a side cash is what it is, a protection right there. And you can see they're right there neck and neck.
Right.
The contingency and their appraisal. And it's just scary to know. I mean, back maybe 2 months ago, I wouldn't even have thought of this. Maybe 2-3 months ago, like, no, we're not going to remove this. We're not, we're going to protect our. Now it's like, do you have it? We just got to, educate and then talk about it and just let them know what this represents. And if you're really serious this year or, anytime soon about buying, this is exactly what needs to be done. To be just in part, just to be even with everybody else going out there.
And it's interesting. A lot of our clients and people that we talk to here, we kind of educate them in advance, so they obviously know. But when I get like referral clients, usually they have to lose one home. We see a home, they love it. They say, I really don't want to waive my appraisal contingency. No, I really don't want to. They don't really understand it. And then after they lose a home or two, then they go, okay, it's the expert. You're the experts, guys. Mm-hmm. I understand. I thought, my mom and dad told me this, or at a barbecue backyard party, they said that they can get away with that. It's not the same today as it was 12 months ago. And I know for a fact, and I'll say this much. If I look back 2 years ago, and that is pretty much where I think this market kind of began simmering a little bit, I would never have thought to waive appraisal contingencies. I never. I mean, I think for 10 years, I didn't waive one appraisal contingency. Today, I'm waiving them. I would say I educate my clients and I educate everybody out there. We're waiving at least 2 out of 3, and then the other one usually is someone that just needs to be educated and lose a couple before they get that.
Or at least what I'm doing in my offers, if we don't remove the whole thing, let's do a little cushion, again, a little protection for the seller, and just put, we're willing to pay up to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, difference, because I know that's the cushion my client has. So we go ahead and do that, and that's still a lot better than just saying, hey, well, if it doesn't come in, we'll negotiate later. No, I'm negotiating right now. I'm putting it in writing right now. We are willing to put this in, and so that's another norm also. But I never thought that would be the norm today.
Exactly.
And what's scary, Troy, is what's going to happen. What's September going to look like? What's October going to look like?
Yeah.
Well, what else do we got to do here?
Well, everyone who saw my prediction, I think that the market's going to kind of it won't slow down. It will just be steady in the fourth quarter of this year. And I think it's because it, just like if I look back at 2006 and 2007, right before the big crash, it stayed hot for so long that a lot of people out there started getting a little tired right around the holidays of getting, their offers not accepted. So they kind of put it on hold, and they regain or get reinvigorated over the holidays, and they go back in January. So my prediction here is, let's go ahead and get it hot right up to a certain point when Halloween hits, and then we'll kind of slow it down. So that's where I'm at. Get the next slide.
All right, let me best here. Go to the next one. Oh no, let's introduce this, right? We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. Our buyer's guide.
Oh, awesome!
We introduced that about 2 weeks ago now. This is our third week introducing it. So for those of you tuning in for the first time, then here's our preview here of our buyer's guide. We're very excited about it, and it talks about everything, of course, everything real estate related, all the answers you've been wanting to know. And right now, I'll just take the moment to say, if you want a copy, please DM us. DM us your email address, your information, and we'd be more than happy to get you a copy. And we have other guides coming up, and I'm not which ones, because it's a secret, but it's a secret.
We're working on it in our laboratories. The House Hero laboratory in the dungeon.
Please, yes. So let me get to the next slide here.
And I'll elaborate a little bit. If you're there's a few chapters. We made this kind of really simplistic on our summer home buyers guide. Why should I buy now is a question. Why is today different than 2006, 2007? I get a lot of those questions, right? People coming up and saying, well, Troy, 2006, 2007, it was red hot. And then all of a sudden, the market went from, at the peak of a mountain and just fell straight down that mountain and fell off. So we go over some of those reasons why today is not 2006, 2007, and it's significantly different. We also go over the home buying process, some of the lingo and language that we talk about, so you can be kind of educated and understand when we talk about it. And then we also go over how to pick the right agent. And then if you actually watch us, we go over the 5 things you need to know on every single home that your real estate agent should go over with you, the 5 key things to determine how much you want to offer, determine if there's going to be repairs on the property, and even issues that you might have somewhere down the road. So those are things that if you watch us, but our home buyer's guide is definitely, if you're interested in it, DM us, or actually on the comment section, go, hey, send me a copy, and then we'll DM you behind the scenes. It's been kind of crazy. We've had one of our assistants, all she does all day, send copy. So yeah, and if you have any questions on the guide itself, or just any questions in general, please absolutely get back to us. And
one more thing about the guide, you were talking about topics and stuff like that. One of my favorite that we still get asked daily, and I'm sure you do, Troy, is what should I know before? What are the things I need to know prior to buying a home?
Yes.
Okay, that's always. Or what's the first step? And I keep getting the same question. Do I need a realtor first? Do I need the lender first? Okay. What are the things I should avoid? What are the things I should be looking at? So those are all the things. It's a video I did earlier today. Yeah, those are just. I'm sure there's a lot more mistakes, but those are the ones that just want to do my tip. And part of it is it also is disclosed on our buyer's guide. Okay, we'll get to the next slide.
Yes.
So now we
let me get a few shout outs here.
Yes.
So let's go over. Gerta, how you doing out there? And look, RJ, how's it going, buddy? I know you're a fan. Thank you very much for tuning in with us. Jason, where are rates at right now? Well, rates are fantastic. I mean, 2 weeks ago they were all-time low. Freddie Mac had come out and said, hey, it's all-time low. Absolutely, look into it. That's why the market is so hot. And that's why we talk about in our guide that why is this not 2006 and 2007? Why is this hot market different? And one of the biggest reasons is rates, right? And that's why you want to get into those right away. So
great. I'll do a little shout out on my end as well.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Andy, for watching, for supporting us. And we have a question from Jerry. What's too early for a first-time home buyer to start the pre-approval process? Jerry, it's never too early.
Right.
Okay, never. And you are correct. A pre-approval is always first. I mean, sometimes people want to meet a realtor first just to get comfortable, and sometimes the realtor will lead you to a lender or lender of their choice or lender of recommendation. But the very first step is definitely we need to get you pre-approved, and it's never too early. Sometimes I've always said it. I said it in my Spanish on Thursdays. the majority out there just think they don't qualify. They don't think they have enough credit. They don't think they have enough income. They don't think they have enough payment. And if we just try, give it a shot, and we give you the homework, we give you the steps, we give you the suggestions, you follow it, you will get your keys. I wish I had keys right now so I can show, the keys. And let's see who else we have here. We have Jay. Jay saying, what's up? Great show. Thank you very much, Jay, for tuning in. And let's see, we have Keys here. Thank you, Keys.
Hello, Keys.
But it's Keys for real. Like, Keys is writing. We have a, how do I know if I should move to a, I didn't understand your word, Sigport apartment? No, I'm not sure. If you can clarify, Keys, we'd be more than happy to answer that for you. Oh, to a cheaper area. Well, can you afford where you're at, Keys? Is it giving you some dilemmas, or how do I know if I should move to a cheaper area? Are you talking about, I'm sure you're talking about buying. Are you talking about downsizing? Not sure what.
So I think actually this is actually very good with it kind of coordinates with the last comment that you had. So the very first step is to go get pre-approved. What I like about pre-approval is whether it's a positive outcome, which means you get a pre-approval letter, or it's a negative outcome, meaning, okay, I need to improve my credit. It's the first step on the road to getting approved, right?
Right.
And then from there, once you get that dollar approved, then you definitely want to get with a real estate agent, get an auto search. And then you determine at that point the area in which you can like to be in, and that would fit your budget, your monthly, right? And so those are the things, Keys, as well as everybody else. Those are the very first steps of getting it. Now, for us real estate agents, we like to put you on an auto search pretty quickly. Why? Is because when you do get approved, you already know what your neighborhoods that you're looking in, what the cost, what cost to get in that neighborhood. And I've had a lot of clients, and I just had a client that I just put in escrow. They initially looked at these homes. They're all 50s, 60s homes, right? They were nice. They're 550,000, approximately right around San Dimas area. And they said, you know what? Let's go look at condos where it's something brand new or newer, right? Where I don't have the maintenance there. And, I'm not looking at a 50s, 60s home that I might have to budget every single month because those homes just need more work, right? So then you can determine whether your needs can actually fit into, instead of a house, into a townhome, right? That's kind of the idea behind it. So those kind of coordinate together.
Right.
So let me throw a couple other hellos out here. I have Dad, Men's Dad. How you doing, buddy? It's Justin. Send me a copy of the buyer's guide. We'll definitely get that out to you. Give us 24 hours. We'll have that sent out to you, Justin. Jerry says they don't answer the questions. They just like hearing them talk, replying to Keys. Mm-hmm. So we're actually here to educate you, Jerry. Absolutely. If you have any questions, please bring the questions on. We're out here to educate anybody, not just our clients. We want everyone to understand what's going on out there when they're looking for their home, and they want to understand the process. I've had many people say this to me. I don't care if they've used the House Heroes or they use Century 21 or whoever they want to use. The bottom line here is that you want to be comfortable during that process. And I do this for one reason. Because the very first home I bought, I was told by my real estate agent and the loan officer, trust me. So I know I'm much older than Roxy and things were different, but all they did was say, trust me, Jerry. And guess what? I didn't get the best deal. There was no internet where I can compare, right? There was no one I can go call up and educate me through the process. And so with that being said, I was taken advantage of. I'm sitting here so everybody out there, me and Roxy are sitting here, so you can understand the process a lot better, and then you turn around and you feel more comfortable during getting into a house, looking at homes, and then going through the process.
Okay, we have more questions. I have George Perez. Thank you for tuning in. Is it worth to waive appraisal contingency in such a competitive market? We did discuss that earlier. It depends. If that is literally the home of your, I wouldn't say dreams, but that's exactly the home that fits, that has the criteria you're looking for, that's in the area you want, that's in the school district for your kids, that has your nana or babysitter, 1 block away, that has your mother-in-law. There's just so many things, so many positive things that people look for, or if it meets. And if you have again, an informed real estate agent working with you and educating you on those comps, and they tell you that there's not that much difference. And my answer is yes, it is worth it. In this competitive market, you're right, but it definitely is worth it to do, especially if you have the extra cash on the side, because you're going to make it up. You're going to make it up with your tax write-off. You're going to make it up. Like I said, just 2 months ago, these homes in Whittier, I'll be specific, these homes in Whittier were 500. And 2 months later, we got out of escrow, had to find a replacement property running about 2025. So you will definitely make that up. And I say, yes, it is worth it if all those, fall in line. Then I put in my first, we have from Steve. Thank you, Steve, for tuning in.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I put in my first bid yesterday. First time buyer. Welcome. And I already say welcome to the Homeowners Club. Welcome to, and so excited for you on your journey. Right? But anyway, right? It's exciting, right? This journey, everything leading to home ownership. It's very exciting. And then Keys says yes. Keys is saying, thanks, guys. You're welcome. And then we have Khalid. Thank you.
Yes. Have a couple more shout outs. Okay. Chris Flores says, hi, House Heroes. Can 2 or more people be on the primary home loan? If so, do they have to be related? We know as me and Roxy have put boyfriend and girlfriends on there, as well as husbands and wives as primary. So yes, you can, Chris. You definitely can. And you don't have to be blood related. Right? Not at all. It's all about qualifying. You can have 2, 3 people qualify. I know that. I know Ryan about 4 or 5 months ago had 5 people on the loan. 5 people.
It's happened.
Yes.
I've had a friend, a cousin, somebody that worked at a 7-Eleven that was a friend. It's just all just sporadic. Okay, all random, but it worked. It worked, and so definitely more than 2, 3, 4. As long as it makes sense.
Olivia says, hi, guys. Love this. Thank you. I got Jay coming in and says, are there any special rules or tips for buying these as investments, these homes as investments? Right now, typically, if you're looking for an investment property, you're looking at off-market properties. That's, if you check us out on Friday, Deal of the Week, sometimes we come up with those. We highlight those. But right now, Jay, it's getting tough actually to watch. To go out there as an investor, because you're competing directly with homeowners that are just spending way over market. So unless you find something that's like a complete fixer, and that's what you want to go for, that's non-financeable. That's a very, very important. The majority of people out there that are looking at homes, all these first-time home buyers, are conventional and FHA. So you got to look at the cash properties, the properties that are just not financeable. They might be burnouts. They might have no plumbing, no flooring. Those are the ones you have to see, those gems, and you have to obviously price it out for what it's worth at that moment, and then what it's going to be worth in a future 90 days, and you hope to get it done in 90 on those beat up homes. 90 to 120 days, the future value of that property.
That's right. We have Liz Alba. What's the best method to contact you? Well, on my Spanish one, I do give a number because sometimes they don't feel comfortable asking certain questions. So, I don't know. We want to give an email, Troy?
You know what, Liz, what we'll do is after this is over, we'll go ahead and contact you, and we'll hopefully answer all your questions.
We'll get to you, Liz. Promise. Okay. So should we go to the next slide?
Yes, let's go to the next slide. Real estate market update. It's time to go check out the counties here in Southern California and see. I'm sorry. Roxy's famous for her foreclosure active report, right? So we're going to go over how many foreclosures are in Southern California total. Think about this. How many times have everyone been around a family and they talk about, I want to buy a foreclosure, right? How many times have you heard that, Roxy?
Find me one. Yeah, that's what I want to buy. Yeah, that's perfect for me. Okay.
What do you think, Roxy? How many foreclosures have you ran into out there? And I know you show 20 homes at least a week. How many foreclosures you find?
I haven't found any.
Right.
I haven't. Honestly, I haven't. Well, I'd be jumping all over it, right? Probably.
So what we do is we look in the MLS and we come up with a number every single week, and we just go week by week. And actually, for the entire last 7 days, it's been held steady at 185. That's 185 active REOs in all of Southern California, and those are crazy. When you start really breaking down those 185, most of them are all between 30 and 120 days on the market. Why? They're overpriced. Why? They're cash only. They're foreclosures from, these flip guy, these people that went and flipped their homes and they ran out of money and they're sitting there and they're half built, right? Or I see that all the time. Like, okay, finish. Here's the plans. Finish it, right? I'm like, okay, well, that's not what a typical first-time home buyer. They're not going to take on those projects.
So this wouldn't make it to our deal of the week, right? This definitely would not.
Yeah, well, yeah, 185.
No.
That's it. Right. That's rock bottom, guys.
That's it. That's crazy. Also, all right, let's get to
the counties here.
Yes.
So, Roxy, tell us about the actives, pendings, and solds. This is a 4-week running total here, and we want to kind of go over what we're seeing out there. So, Roxy, talk to us about the actives.
Oh God. Well, I just keep seeing, lower and lower every single week. I mean, we see here, we have a spike here on the 4th of July, weekend, it was pretty high, and it became, everybody was out there, looking for homes and going lower and lower. But look at over here. When we jump over here, we got way higher here in pendings. Look at this over here. This is crazy. This is, end of June. Yeah, this is nuts.
That's a 4-week running total, right?
4-week, right? Look at this. And then, of course, our solds are way low. Not too many. Why? Because again, we just keep saying it. No inventory. We got our high demand. We got low inventory. And every single, we had our, numbers last month in May, and these are even lower than May. Look at this. It's.
So if we take a look at those actives, and this is pretty much throughout all the counties, we were looking, our busiest time of the year is the let's call it the May, June, July time. So we want to see that spike in actives, because then that allows that those homes to be sold, and of course, pendings and solds. So we kind of see them all, sold off the market. If we have enough homes and we have about the same amount of buyers, then prices kind of stay steady. But if we have less homes and we have more buyers, then we're going to see prices being pushed up. This is what it's actually showing. We're in an absolute seller's market. And I think, Roxy, and I think you can attest to this as well, there's several different factors why we're in this market. Go ahead and hit the next slide, too, because it just goes right in Orange County. You could
let's hit right.
So you can attest to.
Look at that. Oh,
right.
Wow.
The COVID, everybody in March and April and May were kind of scared. So what was on the market, they took off. So we thought, well, when we reopened the stay in place order kind of went away, that we were going to see this great, huge amount of homes hit the market. Well, we saw it spike right after 4th of July. And as all of our clients and all those buyers that were out there, and they were going, okay, there's going to be houses for us. And we're seeing in Orange County, same thing. We spiked after 4th of July weekend, and now we're dropping in actives. But where's the pendings and solds going?
Right. It's just, my goal, right, for everybody, and I know a lot of people agree with me, it's just the whole goal here is to increase these actives, right? We want more actives, okay? But there's no, inventory. So what does that mean? It's just everything's just getting more and more competitive out there, way more. No, the numbers don't lie. I always say
right.
That.
So, and if you really look at these numbers, you go to next county as well.
Okay.
So you're looking at it. We're looking at actives are what is going on the market on a week-to-week basis. Pendings are what went into escrow and what's the future of the solds. And then solds obviously are homes that close. And if we look at Riverside, this county is literally on fire. It is the Inland Empire. The affordability rate is so much greater. It's so much better than LA and Orange County. I mean, we're going to see here in a minute, the median home price in those two counties are $700,000. Here it's all in the 400,000s. But everybody's flocking out there, and just like we had talked earlier, they're flocking out to the Inland Empire to buy those homes, and that's why. I mean, look at those pendings, solds. I mean, they're crazy numbers.
I've never been so much in Riverside, by the way, Riverside County, in the last 4 months. I mean, it's been sporadic in my years of doing real estate, but in the last 3-4 months, that's where mainly I'm at, in Riverside County. So I'm becoming the next. Yeah, there it is.
Go ahead, San Bernardino.
Go ahead and hit the next one. Here we go. Same thing. God, it just becomes.
It's a pattern, isn't it? It's a pattern in all 4 counties in Southern California, isn't it? I mean, look at the numbers. It's 180%, 170% of actives over pendings. I mean, as of last month, CAR came out. Actually, I should as of June because the month already ended. CAR said, California Association of Realtors and our MLS said we had 2 months of inventory on the market. We had about 6 to 7, I say 8 to 9 weeks of inventory on the market. We're just seeing that inventory continue to shrink, right? Because it's getting sucked up here, and that's what these numbers are showing.
And then it does make sense when we did share a couple of months ago, and I'll say it again. In January, Freddie Mac came out and said that back in January, right, there was a 3.3 million in shortage of homes for qualified buyers versus now in June, right? They did another reading on it or survey on it in June, and now it's 3.8. Not 3. It's like wow, but it makes sense. It makes sense what we're living today and what we're going through. Makes it 3.8 million in and that's why there's just a lot of so for those of you out there again that thought about it 6 months ago, thought about it 4 months ago, and are still thinking about it, or on the fence of buying, we don't make up these numbers. This is just this is facts, and this is what's out there. I don't know, Troy, what do you think? It's gonna get worse?
I'm hoping that what I predicted about the fourth quarter, right, that would come true, is that we're going to we'll kind of even out a little bit more. But I mean, right now, all I know is that I've had clients that I literally talked to 12 months ago that are they're coming out of the woodwork. Okay, I want to get pre-approved, and I want to go back out there and look for a home, and it's just the home ownership. That's the hot topic for millennial generation out there is a hot topic. And if you did buy a year ago, you are enjoying this market because the equity is blowing up. Right?
You are in a beautiful, beautiful place right now.
Right.
Definitely. Congratulations on that.
Medium home prices, right? So now this is the affordability factor. The red and the orange is Orange County and Los Angeles County, right?
Right.
So what are those numbers? What are those numbers?
We got here. Well, we started here in June, right here. Mm-hmm. Okay. And look, it's on higher and higher right here.
Right. Yep. So that's orange. Going up. So that's that right there will be Orange County, and then LA County is right below it. Right. And then we look at then we look at the green, which is Riverside County, and then we're looking at San Bernardino County. So you're seeing
it's all the same, the same pattern.
Right. It's just slightly going up and up, and
it's going the same direction, which is it's going up.
So this is it's a very interesting take on the market. We want to give you these numbers. In fact, we come out with the weekly market numbers every single week on Fridays at 8 o'clock. But guys, I would definitely, anyone that that's interested in buying a home, or just wanting the process, or just really tired of paying rent, share this with them. Just take that first step. Talk to somebody, a financial advisor or a loan officer, and I don't care if you have horrible credit. Take that first step in, okay, how do I get my credit repaired, and go from there. So there's quite a lot of questions here, Roxy.
Oh shoot, I forgot about the questions.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. We have typical buyers. George, let's see. We ended with George. How typical is it for buyers to ask for closing costs from sellers in today's market? George, we are still finding buyers. It depends who their agent is they're working with. I'm strongly, especially if they have the money and they wanted to save it for a little cushion to buy furniture and buy all that. If you really want this home, sweetheart, we're going to have to put that furniture on hold, and we're going to have to dedicate it to our closing cost, because that's just, we say it every week. I say it in my Spanish on Thursdays. They're going to get an average of 12. Well, right now, this week, I've gotten 3 emails. We had 22 offers. Thank you very much. We had 26 offers, and in one of them, I had 31 offers. So let's just say average 20 offers per home at the moment. When you get them as a real estate agent, as a listing agent, sharing it with the seller, they're going to separate the pile. They're going to put the pile of everybody that's removing contingencies and not asking for closing versus the ones that are asking for this, asking for termite, and give me the piano in the house, and give me, they're not even going to look at those. So in today's market, I still do see people asking for it, but it's not the wisest thing to do. If you really want that home, or you just want a home this year in 2020, it's not the wisest thing to do. Now, the next question probably is going to be, well, do I save for closing costs? I feel it just depends where you're at and how short you are in that. So,
you can always ask for gift funds from relatives. I always tell my clients that, or look at your 401k or retirement plans. You can also pull money out of those to go after those closing costs. But I don't know. I don't remember the last offer. Of the last 20 offers, I have not included any closing costs in there, because the agent, and I've seen this several times on the private remarks in the MLS, seller will not entertain any offers in which sellers paying for closing costs. We are seeing that now in the MLS. So you have to advise your client, or you want your real estate agent to advise you if they see that in there, that either if you need the help, it's just not going to come through the seller. They're not even going to take your offers.
Correct. You want to take over Tia's question?
Tia, we want to buy a cabin in Idlewild, California. Prices have gone up. Should we wait until winter or next year, or buy a cabin
up there?
Up there. So, it's very interesting because that might be a seasonal area in Idlewild. It's like it gets hot, really hot, and gets cold. So it's very seasonal up there. I would consider that buying a home, buying out there. My personal opinion is to talk to an agent out there because it is seasonal. I would go for an expert agent. We could probably, if you want to DM us, you want to message us, we can go ahead and direct you to a really good Idlewild agent. But there's certain areas in Southern California where they're specifically for certain times. And then other times you can go ahead, if you're not going to live in that cabin, then you can go ahead and rent it out as well and find a property management company. We could do that. So that would be my suggestion to you, Tia, up there. Okay, you want to take Ivan?
Ivan, let's see. If you are looking for down payment assistance, at what point are you applying for that, or will the lender ask us? Is it a separate process from the home approval process? So if you're looking for down payment assistance, at what point are you applying for that? I've always said, and I hope this answers your question, anything is better than renting, anything. So if that's where you're at and you qualify, and because you still got to meet certain criteria, requirements even to get your 0% down program. So if you are there and you qualify for that and you meet that criteria, yeah, go for it. And it's all together, by the way. It all ties in together with when you speak to your lender and they're pre-approving you, and that's the program that's best for you. And obviously you don't have the income or the down payment. Definitely don't wait on that. Let's get you into a home.
Yes. Okay. The sooner you get qualified for down payment assistance program, the sooner you have an opportunity to go out there and look at homes, and you get away from that rental rat rate, right? It might be tough to get your down payment assistance offer accepted. It's, as you keep pushing out towards the east and as they go Empire, then you'll absolutely get better chances. But in a highly competitive Orange and LA County, it's kind of tough. I'm just be very honest.
Right. Well, that's another thing too. I do tell my buyers that are in this same boat, in this same situation, is give it it doesn't mean you got to be there the 30 years, even though that's what your loan is. Give it 2 years, give it 3 years. It might not be so bad. You might find the better form of transportation, the better form of your babysitter out there. The school district is probably not as whatever the situation is that is you're looking for that wouldn't be in the Inland Empire. Give it a shot, but at least we all got to take a bite somewhere and kind of go 2 steps back so we can go 5 steps forward. So that's my best suggestion. We have Carlos here. Carlos Magaña, thank you for tuning in. Trying to refi, bought a year ago. I have a 3.875. Is it worth it? I have my credits around 660. The last time I heard Troy on this, I mean, I'm not a lender, but I do work with refis too that clients do want to. At a 660, as of yesterday, I did hear that we can go up to like a 2.8, 2.9.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors involved in that, but I would definitely call up several different lenders because after COVID, the March to April, May, and all the lenders tightened all their guidelines up significantly. They didn't want to predict the future, so they just kind of packed the house and battened down, right? Then when they realized that it wasn't going to be this crazy, pandemic that was going to happen, they all actually started loosening guidelines up. So that's absolutely, Carlos, I would definitely contact several different lenders, and they'll definitely help you out on that. One thing, Carlos, you want to definitely look at is, I don't know what you put down on the property itself, but it's really important to know that if FHA or conventional, and if you had way back when you bought the house, you put down 3.5% or 5%, that if you have 20% equity today, you can get rid of your mortgage insurance. That is really what the big thing is, that you can get rid of the MI. So when you bought the house, minus the equity, or minus the down payment, and then what it's worth today, if there's 20% in there, I would go after that. That's another angle on this refi binge that everybody needs to look at. Because the lender is not going to come to you, knock on your door and say, hey, guys, you now have 20%. We're going to drop the MI off. They're going to leave the MI on there forever until you tell them that you have 20%. So whoever the real estate agent that sold you that property, get back with them, get them to do a market analysis of your property and find that out, that if you do have 20% in there, and I say this, I know it's only been a year, but in certain areas, it's gone up 20%. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's, I would definitely get that and take that.
You might be in a beautiful position, Carlos. You might be in a better position than what we think. Yes, correct. We have Harold here. Thank you for tuning in. So is it wise to wait it out? Been on the market for 3 months. It's been brutal. And then I'm thinking Lakewood, Norwalk area is the homes that you're looking to purchase. You're picking Harold. Very, very popular. That's one of my high, I guess you could say, farm areas that I work, that I represent buyers, and I've had listings there as well. And very, very popular. And so you've picked areas. I don't know, Harold, my suggestion to you would be, are you willing to work around the surrounding areas of Lakewood and Norwalk? That's the only thing I can, think out there, because everybody else, just like yourself, wants that area. And so, just the surrounding areas, or just keep trying. There's always, I always say, there's always a home for everybody out there. You just got to be patient. And at the same token, just the other suggestions, just the other avenues, other areas that you can possibly look at. Justin, what are the requirements for 0% down? The last I knew of this, you got to have minimum a 660 FICO score. And even though it says 0% down, there is some type of little bit of, EMD, what would you call the earnest money deposit, to put your deposit down and cover a little bit of your closing costs, just a bit. We just ask for 1%. So for example, you're looking at a $400,000 property. We want you to have $4,000 in your bank, or prove it, or, with a gift letter again, and that 660 FICO score. And again, your job, you got to be there at least full time, 2 years. And that's about it. Troy, I don't know if you want to add into that.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, 0% down, that's usually a down payment assistance program. So you'll get with the let's call it FHA. They haven't, I don't know if they've re-released the conventional side of this, but with CalHAFA and other, Chinoya and other down payment assistance programs, what they'll do is they'll make up the difference. So FHA is 96.5%, and then CalHAFA will fill in that 3.5%, making it no money out of pocket on the actual down payment of the house. And like Roxy said, you need 1% down. Some of those down payment assistance programs will also assist you on closing costs. So, but then the rates go higher, and that means that the values of the homes that you're looking at actually go down, and so it becomes a harder. You're floating out east, right? You keep going east because there's the more affordable homes that are out there than you do here in LA and Orange County.
But Troy, is this still better than renting, right? Still better.
There's absolutely no question that if you did 100%, you did FHA with CalHAFA, 100% last year, no money out of pocket, you probably have anywhere from 8 to 15% equity today. Think about that. Where did your last 12 monthly rent payments go? Right? It went to your landlord's pocket payment, his mortgage payment, and he enjoyed the 15%. It could be as low as 1 or 2%. The market went up, but in other areas, it's definitely have gone as high as 25% in the last 12 months. It's been that crazy. We've definitely seen that. So.
Definitely. Let's see what else we have here. Do you recommend, George again, thanks, George. Do you recommend using a single lender or a mortgage broker?
That is a great main question.
Yeah, that's
a great main question.
I could talk about that for an hour, probably, but I won't. I promise I won't. I personally have used both. I've been satisfied with both. I mainly use a broker if I had my personal, it just depends what the situation is and who's coming in. It just worked for me. It just depends. Because they can shop out there. They have more avenues, more sources.
On a broker, the broker channel?
On a broker site, correct. Yes, on a broker site.
And then you'll hear it's kind of funny, the mortgage bank will say, I got a lower rate, so. So I would believe it or not, I would absolutely, I'd gather all my paperwork, okay, and the first person I took it to, they want to run your credit. That's like the most popular. I want to run your credit. Well, the first one you go to, have them run your credit, and you get a copy of that credit report. Then take that credit report, package all your asset and income documents, and send it off to a couple other loan officers, lenders, brokers, and say, I don't want to run my credit because I'm giving you a copy of that credit report with all my income and asset documents. Tell me what the rates are. And I've heard this from men on many, many occasions. You want to do that within a couple of days because rates change so rapidly, almost on a daily basis, that to get a fair comparison, you want to get those rate quotes. Yes, I get a rate quote here, I get a rate quote there, I get a rate quote. I want them within 24 hours, right? Otherwise, they wait a week or they blow you off. Those aren't the lenders you want because they're just looking to see if a lower rate pops up to make them look like the heat, right? So.
Right. All right. Güerita, buenas noches. No, just kidding. It's an English show tonight. Let's see. We have our conventional 3% loans actually better than that loans in this taker. So we're asking, are conventional 3% actually better? To my understanding, there are, especially if you're buying a condo, and not many out there are FHA approved, and you're going to go conventional. 3% loans definitely work there. But are 3% loans the best rate? The last I heard, they're not. They're not the best. Yeah, they're not the best taker. 3%. So why don't we add a 0.5 more, and you can go 3.5. You can go if you can go conventional, you can go FHA, and do it that way. Even 5% conventional is going to put you in a better position versus the 3%.
There's a few things here, Roxy. You look at, obviously, you just hit a great point. There's a lot of different condo and townhomes that are not FHA approved. Right? So that's a great point. A lot of they'll go conventional. The other thing is when you look at the pecking order, we did this about 6 weeks ago. The pecking order of what offers are looked at as the best and the worst. Well, obviously the best is going to be cash, right? Bring in cash, done.
King. Yeah,
but the next one down is conventional before we hit FHA. Why? Because we have less called out on the appraisal on a conventional than we do at FHA. FHA has a specific guidelines, right?
Right.
And, conventional has less guidelines on the home. So they'll look at the home and they won't look at chip paint. But FHA says that home, if it's being appraised, chip paint means something. So the seller has to get rid of the chip paint, and you have to have the appraiser go back out there and re-inspect the property. You don't have with.
Correct. We have Abel. Good evening, Abel. What's the usual cost for refi on paperwork? So the cost.
Don't pay it. Because right now what's happening, it's so competitive out there. Okay, you should be looking at no cost refis, right?
No origination fees, no service fees,
no cost
fees, no nothing fees. All right. Fleeman, thank you so much for tuning in. I have a scenario in Sacramento. I'm getting a conventional home renovation. I'm getting $10K in closing, $10K reduction, section half covered and plumbing covered, but there are structural issues on the roof that require a new roof. Do I approach the seller agent to provide me to cover the roof? Well, congratulations on getting your closing costs, on getting the reduction, on getting, this covered and this fixed and all your repairs. Wow. That's awesome. That's a great seller right there. You hit the lottery, actually. It just depends where are you at right now. Have you removed your inspection contingency? And obviously you didn't ask for this up front on the contract because you're really asking now, and you had all this other stuff up front. So do you approach the seller agent? Maybe that's why they've given you this and this and this. I'm thinking that's probably the answer you're going to get. Well, Mr. Buyer, we're already giving you, $20,000 and this plus repairs plus this, and a roof is going to cost you. But I always say, ask. You ask and you ask. You shall not receive if you don't ask. So you just do a lot of asking and see where you're at. You never know. You might get half of that covered. Okay, half that roof. So
there's two things here. There's a 203K renovation loan. It's kind of a secret at the moment because a seller would rather just take a regular, just take a loan and get rid of the property. 203Ks take longer, and you have to have a FHA inspector go out there, and then he starts turning around and bidding on some of those things or what he feels is worth. The appraiser shows up, tells you what's needed, and then that turns into a loan. Conventional renovation loans, you have kind of the same thing. You have to submit bids. It's a longer process. Typically, what will happen is that when you're going through that escrow time, you're telling that contractor or the multiple contractors you have out there, this is what I want to the house. This is what I want done. So did the appraiser call out that the roof itself, or are you looking at it? Are you looking at a home inspection? Wherever it's at, the seller is just gonna go, no, I don't. There's a certain point where the seller just says, I've given you everything, and I'm gonna go ahead and wait it out with you. With that being said, that just needs to be on the renovation loan. So what happens? Appraiser goes out there, he sees what the value is today, and he sees what the fixed value is going to be, the fixed up value, right? And then they'll loan up to 80% of the fixed value. So what's really cool about that is that you can actually formulate the house yourself and put in the things you want, right? The flooring, the countertops, the cabinets. It's a really good 203K. Is the people who specialize in that love that loan. The problem is it's a seller's market. So the seller wants to sell their home as fast as possible. Most of them, they don't want to go through that escrow time, which is usually twice the amount of time, and then you're not quite sure exactly what is going to need to repair, and then whatever the 80% difference up to 80%, will it actually cover everything on the home? So, at this point, Roxy made a great point. You got to ask, right? You got to ask. But there's a lot of scenario that's in here that's up for grabs.
Wonderful. And Juanita's just laughing at the, it's a two-part comment. Better than FHA in this market. She's laughing. Yeah, it's better than anything. Again, it's better than that. And then thoughts on FSBO with only a realtor on buyer's side. How does that work? So for those of you that don't know, FSBO is for sell by owner. I haven't seen, honestly, on my side, I haven't seen many of those, but they're out there. They're out there, and those are the sellers that don't need, a realtor to sell their home. Obviously, they want to save on the commission. They just go ahead and do that. But your question is, how does that work only on the buyer side? So basically, I think what you're asking is, how does it work paying only one side?
Well, actually, what happens is that you get with your real estate agent, find a for sale by owner or a FSBO. And that real estate agent will then deal directly with the seller. So they'll go over contracts. Now, the seller has to cooperate with the agent. Typically, in a typical situation, that particular, for sale by owner will pay your real estate agent to represent you. That's how the market is now, and that's where it should be. If he refuses to, well, then you're going to have to make a decision whether you want to be covered by a real estate agent. Just if I represented you for free, I have out-of-pocket expenses that I have to deal with. Number one, I have liability because I'm completely going to represent you. Not that I want a ton of money from you, but I have to make sure that we're all covered, and I have to have the seller cooperate with the California Association of Realtors, their contracts, because it covers you as a buyer as well as them as a seller. It doesn't leave, and we called this before back 4 or 5 years ago, we called it the napkin. We would write that deal, a deal on a napkin, right? Offer a napkin, you hand it over, and then people would accept it. But there's so many more things that went on. So that's what you would do. You'd just get with your agent, have the agent contact the for sale by owner, and then begin that negotiation of price, terms, and his commission.
Correct. And at the end, for sell by owners that don't want an agent, at least pay someone to do your paperwork. Get yourself. You don't even
$1,000, $2,000. It's nominal.
Peace of mind. You can sleep and keeps you out of court. Right? Basically.
That's exactly true.
Yeah, keeps you out of court. So don't be that. Do it right. So we have. Let's see, George again. In today's seller's market, what are some terms you can add to your offer to make your offer stronger? So we did discuss that earlier. We discussed. Basically, not just price, George. We discussed removing contingent. Either we're shortening them, but that's not even good enough right now, sweetie. It's going to be removing contingency, moving that appraisal, removing that inspection contingency. What else am I seeing out there? Obviously, they're always going to pick their services. The seller, you don't even want to mess with that. Let them pick their services.
No closing costs?
No closing costs. Exactly. No closing costs. Back then, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember the last time I asked for termite. I don't even remember the last time I asked for termite. You're sure not asking for anything. Like if they have that hot tub back there, if they have, whatever it is, you don't ask for anything in the home. And be prepared also we can discuss that later on in an offer. Once an offer is accepted on the repairs and stuff like that, sometimes that might, end up killing a deal as well. So we got to be ready to just out of pocket little by little with your tax returns, be fixing up that property. But up front in the offer, the strongest one would be, you want to come in a little bit higher in a bid. You want to be ready for that and remove contingency. Do not ask for termite. Do not ask for closing costs. Do not ask for anything. And have a beautiful letter. Have your family, have a testimonial, have how beautiful, how perfect this home is for you, and all that good stuff. So you definitely need to stand out.
Right. So, but you're not releasing all your contingencies. You're still keeping your loan contingency. Do not forget that. Your loan contingency is still in place. You do not want to lose your deposit over that. You're just releasing the other contingencies that make it easier for the seller to know that that house is going to.
That's true. With that in place, your deposit is protected. We have Byron. Thank you for tuning in. How does the lender credit work? If you go with the lender credit, does that get added to the mortgage loan? The way the lender credit works is, or any type of credit that you have, any money that is owed, you already put your EMD. Let's say you put $5,000, putting a 5% on a $500,000, $500,000 home. That's 25. You put 5. You have a balance of 20K. You ended up getting a lender credit of 5K. And well, back then, because now we don't get closing costs, correct? But that's how it is. So instead of out of pocket, you keep that money. So you're coming in with less. You're coming in with the difference. When you wire your money, when you sign your loan docs and you have to come in with your final wire, your final balance, that's how that works. You get to keep that. So it's not, a lot of people have thought before, well, I still have to, put this money and then I get a check later. No, it's deducted up front. And like I said, you do keep the difference. And what else we have here? We have, let's see, we have claiming again. Appraisal this week, and my agent feels that it's not in his best interest to ask. Is this wrong? Will the new roof add more value to the home? So this is a two-part question. Is not in the best interest for the appraisal this week. You understand the question?
Yeah. So again, I think this is the guy who did renovation.
I think that it's not in the best interest. I think
appraisal this week, and my agent that in the best interest to ask, is it wrong? So if you actually did a home inspection report and the roof is having problems, it has some leaks or some issues, this is what typically happens. You want to get with your agent, ask for requests for repair. So write that up, submit the request for repair. A good seller will not respond to your request for repair. Number one, they don't have to respond at all, period. But they won't respond until they know the appraisal came in, right? So when the appraisal comes in, if it comes in at value, then they're more open to negotiate either, credits so you can repair it afterwards, or even a roof a certification from a roofer to take care of it. But if the appraisal comes in short, then they're less likely to negotiate any of the repairs, whether it be a roof or, hot water heater or anything else out there. So yes, the appraisal is going to rule the day, and it's going to determine whether the other things that the seller is going to look at on a request for repair.
Because if we're short, right, the seller most likely will have to lower the price of the home, right? We'll have to most likely lower it. Already lowering it, and you're asking me for repairs, that's a double negative for me.
Exactly,
right? Like,
he's not going to do both, right? At all, if he does either.
Correct. All right. We have Rudy here. Hi, I'm in the process of purchasing a home, and I asked our lender if we can add the closing costs onto the FHA loan, and he advised us we can't. Is that true?
Well, that goes to lender credits, right?
Right.
So if you lender credits are typically what the lender's going to give you against your closing costs, right? So if they give you more lender credits, they're taking it directly off of the rate. So the rate goes up, you get more lender credits. It goes like this, right?
Right.
So, but when the rate goes up, that means your payment goes up, and there's that kind of fine line. I've had several of my clients turn around and say, "Hey, let's go ahead. I don't want to. It's dollar per dollar out of pocket for closing costs. So if closing costs, which are typically between right around 2%. So
0.2, right.
So if a $400,000 house, you have $8,000 in closing costs, right? So if a lender credit comes in at $2,500, all right, that's great. But if they can bump my rate up higher and I get $4,000 or $4,500 in lender credit, then I'm looking at, well, where's that $2,500 gonna do me? Is it better that I have it in my pocket at closing, or do I pay an additional $5 a month for the next 30 years for that, or $7 a month? Take that in consideration. You have to. It's either the rate goes up and your monthly payment goes up, but I have to pay dollar per dollar out of pocket for closing costs, or or balance that what's best in your scenario. And
And the majority do pick, go ahead and spike my rate a little bit. I don't mind paying the $15 more. I always say give up the Big Mac meal, okay? And you have the house that you want.
Exactly.
Okay. Are you really going to stay in that home 30 years? So $15 really is not that big of a deal.
Or refi it somewhere in the future,
exactly. Right? Okay, so we have Güerita again. No way. We are not trained experts in this field. There is no way we are trying to do any of this on our own. What are we mensos? Okay, so I think she's answering to somebody else's.
Well, no, actually, I think it's a for sale by owner, right?
For sale by owner.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
You're,
someone else's comment about the FSBO. Correct. Yeah. No. This is a lot. And what don't we have a new RPA? I mean, I don't want to touch that subject, but there's always just more paperwork, right, Troy? Right. Always just more and more and more. You know, I heard back in the day the offer was only 1 page, I think, or 2 pages. Became 7, became 9. Now, you know, we're at 17. And so who knows what the new one's going to be. But yeah, there's always more that needs to be covered and, you know, protected. Byron says, thank you. We have claim in. Thank you. Makes perfect sense. I'm glad we make perfect sense. That's nice to hear. And we have our Irene. Thank you for watching, Irene. And we have Rudy that sends thank you. So
great.
It was a great evening.
Yes.
A lot of interaction.
Thank you very much, Roxy. I definitely hope that we're going to see you next week.
I'll be here. No problem. Yeah.
We're hitting the eviction button on Ryan's seat, right? Boom, you're gone, Ryan. Right out of here. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching us. You know, we definitely appreciate it. You know, if you know anyone that might benefit from any of the information, hit the share button. Otherwise, you know, go out there, have fun this week. You know, if you're in the process, you know, relax. You have any questions, Roxy's a fantastic person to ask that. You can message us. And anyone that wants our home buyer's guide, summer home buyer's guide, definitely either message us here or DM us.
Wonderful. Well, I take this time right now to say goodbye. It was a pleasure being here. Remember, there is no perfect home out there, but there is a perfect one for you. And we are here more than happy to assist you with that. And for other people watching, know on Thursdays, I will see you Thursday in Los Héroes de la Casa a las 8 de la noche. Ahí los veo. Have a good evening. Stay safe out there. Stay protected. And God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.